You think you've seen every twist in this Hollywood script? You think you know how the Wrexham story goes? Think again. Because what just dropped, what Phil Parkinson just confirmed while the adrenaline was still pumping from that massive win against Derby, changes the mood completely. It's the news every Red Dragon has been secretly whispering about, dreading or praying for. The king is coming home. But he's not coming home to a parade. He's coming home because it's all gone wrong. We are talking about Paul Mullin. Super Paul Mullin. The man who arguably built the foundation of this modern era with his bare hands and his relentless right boot. But the context of this return is not a hero's lap of honour. It is messy, it is complicated, and frankly, it's a little bit worrying. This isn't just a squad update, this is a seismic shift in the emotional atmosphere at the Stoke Kairas. The loan is dead, the spell at Wigan is over, and the questions are piling up faster than pints at the turf on a match day. Is he fit? Is he finished? Or is this the spark we didn't know we needed? Let's not sugarcoat this, yeah? We are flying high. We just turned over Derby County 2-1 away from home. Do you realise how massive that is? That win puts us one single point, one tiny solitary point off the Championship playoff places. We are knocking on the door of the Premier League's waiting room. The boys are absolutely buzzing. The momentum is frightening. And right in the middle of this euphoria, Phil Parkinson drops the bomb. He didn't wait for a press release on a quiet Tuesday. He confirmed it right there in the heat of the victory. Mull's loan spell has been terminated. Just like that. Cold, direct, no fluff. This isn't a standard recall because he's tearing the league apart and we need his goals. If only it were that simple. This is a rescue mission. Or maybe it's a mercy killing of a move that just never worked. Parkinson said, "We will have a chat with him this week when he comes back in." That doesn't sound like a manager preparing to throw a player straight into the starting 11 against the league leaders, does it? That sounds like a manager who needs to assess the damage. The gaffer was clear. Mullin needs to train. He's missed days. He's been out of the loop. While we've been scrapping for points in hotels and on away days, Mullin has been in limbo at Wigan. Parkinson hasn't even had a proper sit-down with him since Christmas. Think about that. Our talisman, our icon, and the communication has been brief. That tells you everything about how focused Parkinson is on the current squad, and how far Mullin had drifted from the immediate plans. We have to look at what happened at the Brick Community Stadium, because it makes for grim reading, mate, it really does. When Mullin left for Wigan, the idea was simple. Get game time, get sharp, prove he can still do it in League One, and maybe come back stronger. Instead, it's been a nightmare. A total of 26 games, 5 goals. For a man who used to score 5 goals in his sleep during the National League days, that return is shocking. It's not just the lack of goals, it's the lack of impact. And here's the kicker. The part that really stings. He didn't just leave Wigan, he was frozen out, omitted from the squad for the last 4 consecutive games. Not on the bench, not warming up, nowhere near the pitch. The manager there clearly made a decision that they were better off without him. For a player of Mullin's stature, that is a humiliation. There is no other word for it. Wigan aren't exactly pulling up threes, are they? And yet they looked at Super Paul Mullin and said, "No thanks, mate." It's baffling. Is it the system? Is it the player? Or is the League One intensity just too much for his body right now? We know he's got that dog in him, that aggression, that bite. But if the legs aren't carrying the fight doesn't matter. And he's not the only one, by the way. Ollie Cooper got recalled from Swansea from Wigan too. So maybe there's something rotten in the state of Wigan. But we can't hide behind that excuse. Mullin went there to reignite his fire, and it looks like the flame has almost flickered out. Now, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. The thing nobody really wants to admit because we love him too much. The injuries. This isn't just bad luck anymore, it's a pattern. a scary, recurring pattern. The report mentions it clearly: lower back issues, knee problems, hamstring trouble. That is the unholy trinity for a striker who relies on explosive movement and physical harassment of defenders. You take away the back, you lose the hold-up play. You take away the hamstring, you lose the burst in behind. You take away the knee, you lose the turning ability. Mullin is 31 now. He's not 24. The miles on the clock are heavy miles. Remember the shifts he put in during the National League title charge? He carried us. He ran himself into the ground for Ryan, for Rob, for the town. 110 goals in 170 games. That is an insane output. But did we burn him out? Last season, when we went up to League One, the cracks were already showing. He missed a huge chunk of the season. Only 5 goals in 32 games for us last year. He didn't even make the bench in the final months of the campaign. He was a spectator for the promotion party, really. His last appearance for us was nearly a year ago, February 2025 against Peterborough, a cameo off the bench. This isn't a sudden drop-off, this is a slow, painful slide that's been happening for 18 months. And now he's coming back with missed training days and a need to get fit. It feels like we are trying to tape together a Ferrari engine with sticky tape. Can it run again? Maybe, but will it ever hit top speed? I have my doubts, and that breaks my heart.
But hold on, before we write them off completely, let's remember who walked through the door. This is the man who defined the Hollywood era. Without Paul Mullin, is there a documentary? Maybe. Is it as good? No chance. Is there a promotion? Probably not as quickly. He is the 7th highest scorer in the club's entire history. He is royalty. He's got a contract until the summer of 2027. That's a long time, folks. That's a massive commitment from the owners. They backed him, they believed in him. And the fans? The connection is spiritual. You hear Super Paul Mullin ring out and the hairs on your neck stand up. He's one of us. He understands the ethos of Wrexham. He's not a mercenary. He loves this club. So his return brings a massive dilemma. The heart screams, get him in. One last dance. Let him fire us to the Premier League. Imagine the scenes. Mullin coming off the bench in a playoff semi-final and smashing in a winner. The roof would come off the STOK Kairas. It would be the perfect ending to the movie. But football doesn't care about movie scripts. The Championship is brutal. It's faster, stronger and more tactical than anything Mullin faced in the National League. If he couldn't get in the Wigan team in League One, how is he going to get in a Wrexham team chasing the Premier League? This is where the emotion clashes with the cold, hard facts. We have moved on. The team has evolved. We are playing a different level of football now. Does the old king still have a place in the new castle? Or is he just going to be a nostalgic ornament on the shelf?
Phil Parkinson is the key here. And if we know anything about Parky, it's that he's absolutely ruthless when he needs to be. He doesn't do sentiment. He wants to win. He benched Mullin last season when he wasn't performing. He sent him on loan when he wasn't needed. He has proven he will put the team above the individual, no matter how famous that individual is. The quote, "I'll touch base with him on the way back down today and we will have a good chat when he comes in," sounds innocent, but that conversation is going to be heavy. Parkinson needs to look Mullin in the eye and ask, are you ready to fight for a spot you might not get? Parkinson has built a squad that is 1 point off the playoffs. The chemistry is perfect. The work rate is off the charts. You cannot, absolutely cannot disrupt that dynamic just to accommodate a returning hero. If Mullin comes back with an ego, or if he expects to walk into the team, it will be a disaster. But, and here is the but, Parkinson also knows that a fit and firing Mullin is a weapon. Even if it's just for 20 minutes, even if it's just to terrorise tired defenders. If Parkinson can unlock 10% of the old Mullin, it could be the difference between finishing 7th and finishing 6th. It's a gamble, a massive gamble.
So, where do we stand? The fan base is going to be split down the middle on this one. Half of you are screaming, "He's back! The saviour returns!" You're looking at his past stats, the 38-goal season, the memories, the Deadpool cameo, and thinking this is destiny. You believe class is permanent and form is temporary. You think Wigan didn't know how to use him. The other half, you're worried. You're looking at the table. You're looking at the intensity of the championship. You're thinking, we are doing fine without him. Why risk the balance? You're worried about his wages, his fitness, and the media circus that follows him. And you know what? Both sides are right. That's the beauty and the horror of it. It's bizarre, isn't it? A year ago, the thought of Mullin leaving was a nightmare. Now, his return feels awkward. Like bumping into an ex who you still love, but know you can't be with. The club is in a delicate spot. We are chasing history. 3 back-to-back promotions, it's unheard of. We need everyone pulling in the same direction. If Mullin is on board, fantastic. If he's a passenger, we can't afford to carry him. Not now. Not when the stakes are this high.
Here is the bottom line. Paul Mullin is a Wrexham player again. Officially. The loan is cut. He is back in the building this week. He has to train, he has to prove his fitness, he has to win over Phil Parkinson all over again. He is starting from 0. Actually, he's starting from -1 because he has to prove his body isn't broken. The contract runs until 2027. He isn't going anywhere unless we sell him or loan him out again. So we have to make this work. We have to find a way to reintegrate the legend without derailing the promotion train. Maybe he becomes the ultimate super sub. Maybe he finds a second wind and silences every critic, including me. Or maybe, just maybe, we are watching the slow, sad fade out of the greatest modern icon this club has ever seen. One thing is for sure. All eyes will be on the training ground this week. The camera crews will be there, the whispers will start. Can he do it? Parkinson said it best. He needs to train. It starts there. Sweat, grit and hard work. No Hollywood lights, just the grass and the ball. Welcome back, Paul. Prove us wrong, lad. Prove us wrong. We are desperate for you to do it. But the clock is ticking and the Premier League isn't waiting for anyone. What a week this is going to be. Up the town.